Alright, well, so yeah, bringing you some Napoleon Total War action here. This match was a match I very recently played against a guy named N. Prussetti, I believe. I played as Sweden, and he played as Prussia. So, a battle for the dominance of the Baltic, I suppose, right? I thought this was a pretty interesting battle, so I'm going to share it with you. So to begin with, I'm going to go over the builds. We can start moving some. So, I've got a general, I've got 4 lifeguards afoot, 3 of which have a unit of experience on them. I've got 4 line infantry and 2 militia. 1 is serving as a meat shield here, and 1 is just standing with these lines to, take up space. And then I've got a token force of 2 Jaegers. And then I've got my 7 shooter cav, my mounted Jaegers. On the other hand, my opponent, as Prussia, he's also, of course, got a Gen staff. He's got his 5 fusiliers. He's got 9 musketeers, 1 foot guard, 4 lancers, 3 of which have experience. So, I'm going to go ahead and begin this. To begin with, I thought it was odd. His foot guards were behind his lights. I don't recommend this, but you can see actually, right from the beginning, he's wanting to really spread out. And so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward for a second. Because when I say spread out, I mean, I really mean it. See, look, he's not leaving any guys to guard his lights. And I think this was like his biggest mistake of the match. And that kind of goes without saying. Like, he should leave 1, at least, of his musketeers behind these guys. Maybe even 2, given the amount of cav that I've got. This being the first match I've played in quite some time, I don't think I end up taking quite as good advantage of this as I maybe should. But even still, like, this ends up being pretty devastating to him. And I think what he's trying to do is trying to spread out a lot, which, makes sense. Like, he has a lot of infantry, and he wants to take advantage of that. So here, like, we're going almost all the way to the red line. I think he was worried about me getting gun cav on his flanks. So his thought is, okay, well, maybe I just don't have any flanks over there. So to begin with, I'm moving up here, staying back on the right. So early on, he gets some fire on my lifeguards, on my rifles. And, he kicks my rifles' asses a good bit there. So I honestly, what I should be doing is already just charging these lights, like, now. Instead, I'm kind of maneuvering up here. I'm doing a charge against his line that are facing my guards. And I kind of get the better of it here because he's in square. His cav get tied up in my cav. And then now I go ahead and do some charges into his lights. And those foot guards are kind of protecting them, but not really. He manages to rout my rifles, which is fine. And here, so my cav route, and I send some in to just do some support here, some shoot. He charges into my infantry, I form square. He also does that over here. I do not form square. Meanwhile, my militia is anchoring the flank and getting shot up. So I managed to form square. I'm fighting his cav, like doing a cav versus cav. He's still in square here. And I'm just lining up my cav to shoot at the flank of his. He reforms into line. But yeah, see, like, my cav getting into his lights. That's pretty good. And he's just crushing these guys. I try to get these into square, but I fail. And here I fail. So my guys that I originally had, like, protecting my rifles. So let's take a look at the situation right now. I'm like, okay, I'm going to pull them back. And at this point, I'm thinking he maybe has me. Like, my cav that I sent to get into his lights, yeah, they're in with these foot guards, so that's nice. Here, I need to send these two right here to take these guys out, but I'm don't end up doing that. You see him charging his general with my very weakened unit. That's not gonna work. I've managed to chase off these cav, so that's good. But these cav are both not in a good way. My foot guards are taking damage, and very big picture view. Like, he's got all these guys left over here. And I've basically got my foot guards, and that's not quite it, but that's close to it. And this brings me to his second big mistake of the fight, and it's just pressing your advantage and the supreme importance of that. So I'm going to kind of, resume what he does. He's routed my right flank here. So first of all, he should honestly have these lancers pursue these two units until they shatter. And then he should be taking all these guys that just won the fight and attacking me right down here. If he does that, he wins. No doubt. Nothing I can do to stand against that. But instead, he runs his entire army back this way. I have one of my Jaegers in combat with his lights. He brings both his cav over here, so he's trying to save his lights. He's trying to save his general, I guess, which, honestly, his general, I mean, maybe one, yeah, saving it is a good idea, but he doesn't need to send a whole lot over that way. Like, certainly not his entire army. Meanwhile, I'm having success on this flank with my cav being in his units, these guys being in square, managing to get these guys into square as well, I believe. Yeah. Like, that works pretty well for me, so I get my cav out of there. He unsquares them like he should. But at this point, even still, like, let's do the little thing where we count units. You know, 1, 2 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a very localized advantage for me. But then out here, did I count? No, it doesn't matter. Out here he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? So he really has 12 units against my 8, but only 2 are engaged. Oh, and these 2 guys come back from routing because he didn't send his lancers to finish them off, which all of this comes to a head in the end. Like, it all adds up. Oh, I inspire my troops because I need to not have any of them rout at this point. And here you see he's forming up his men. He's coming. My gun cav are shooting these guys in the back. He tries to have his musketeers here get in and get on the angle. So I just have my cav go after them. They're very close to breaking, and my cav gets in on their flank. And here I'm just pulling back. Meanwhile, I'm trying to bring these 2 guys back into combat, the militia and the line infantry. And my cav manages to rout his infantry there. And now I just need to form a brand new line, which, of course, is exactly what I do. So now, that was, I think, a premature use of the rally ability. His men weren't really low on morale. They weren't fighting. Like, there was no need to do that. Meanwhile, here, I'm moving up slowly, and I think I see what he's trying to do, because he outranges me, so his plan is whittle me down with his fusiliers. But he's doing this so cautiously that I have time to form my lineup. And here, I'm just going to go ahead and get up within shooting distance. And here so he previously didn't protect his lights at all. Now he's like using his entire line to protect his lights. And so yeah, I gotta inch up and get close enough, and he kites back. But what I think he honestly should do is leave like one of his musketeers behind and have as many of the others trying to win here as quickly as possible. So in this case, it's just a matter of doing the pursuit thing, right? Like, come up. Honestly, I should probably be harassing much harder with my gun cav than I am. But here, like, he can't kite very far. So If I'm him, what do I do? Well, these 2 units are very hurt. So to begin with, instead of it slowly advancing here, I would have taken like 3 of my line units and attacked these lines and had his healthier lancers come up behind my line and charge the militia after they got fired off their volley. That would rout them pretty easily, and then the line infantry would probably chain route. Instead, he's coming back here, and I see like, oh, he's running, so I stop these guys and get to just get some nice, easy shots on his line here as he gets into place. But then he's ordered them to get into in the same formation but further back, so I'm just shooting him in the back for free. Bringing my militia up as well. And here, he can't run away anymore, so I'm getting my mostly lifeguards of foot, and 1 line infantry up nice and close, so that I can shoot. His line can't quite shoot yet, so I'm getting some nice overflow shots. And here, he's charging in. Really, that's what he needs to do. I go ahead and do a rally to really fortify them. Those lifeguards can't square. These ones I managed to. And the cav battle's happening in my lines, but my guys were shooting him in the back. He tried to charge his general at these militia, but it was just too late. And his general routes. I don't manage to get the general kill, unfortunately, but even still, that is kind of the beginning of the end. Remember before, it was like effectively an 8 versus 12? Well, I routed 2 of those, bringing him down to 10, without losing any of mine, so that made it 10v10. That's even again. But in this case, my 10 include several lifeguards of foot, and also I have him outflanked, and he doesn't use the fact that my army is divided against me. He lets me bring them both to bear against him at the same time. And here, once I chase off his cav, I charge through. He puts both of these units in the square. The other one, he comes out of it.
Men are running, sir.
But at this point, it's a matter of, even still, it's kind of close. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 combat units plus a general. So not that close. But his guys have way more morale problems. So I just need to hold off here while these guys manage to pull off what they can. So I move my general over toward these line infantry. But the thing is here, I'm shooting him in the back. And that, like I said, is kind of what seals it. These 2 coming back really, really matters. Well, he's kind of got the advantage on this flank. I'm consolidating my hold here enough that I can come around here. I pull these 2 guys back from being outflanked, and he decides to try to run away, reform his line. And at that point, I'm like, okay, well, let's just go in then. Let's go bayonets. And I'm bringing most of my line up kind of gradually still. But I mean, you can see at this point... Okay. Like, those guys run away, that's fine. These guys are... And this is a part where I'm thinking, like, okay, I don't need to not screw this up, so I'm going to form an actual proper line here. But getting a couple of them into melee even, like, they get their melee back. And, or their morale back. And more importantly, stop this middle unit from shooting for a little while I bring my remnants up, my line infantry, my militia, my lifeguards. Right? And here, I just have the clear advantage. I have a general behind my guys. His guys are low on morale. And now it's just a matter of a shootout. Which, not much to say about that. A shootout's a shootout. I have the morale, I have the numbers. Starts to hurt one of my guys. that I rally. And then I send my lifeguards. I see these guys. He gets them closer, and they're low on morale. And I think these guys are out of bullets, so I just melee charge. These got 3 versus 1 at that point, right? Or 3 versus 2, and then quickly 3 versus 1 thereafter. And that's the battle. So, again, kind of to revisit. First of all, apart from the obvious, like, protect your lights at the beginning, especially as Prussia, your most valuable unit. My second big lesson of this battle is, like, press your advantage when you have it. You know, if you rout one enemy's flank, your enemy's one flank, and they're working on your other one still, like, you should win. You should you should use your side that won and attack hard on their side that's winning but hasn't pulled it off yet. But still, very good game. You know, very close game. Like, you can look at the numbers here. Like, I had 20 fewer losses than him. I actually killed fewer of his guys. Like, he had more men. He started with more men. He had more left at the end. He just didn't, you know, quite press his advantage. So, very good game to end Prussia. Hope to see you again sometime on the field of battle. And thank you for watching.